for bioresources management. There are very few people actually working on mathematical modeling to solve biological problems. There are very specialized institutes are there to address the mathematical modeling and statistical modeling issues, that is for various other purposes. Actually, integrating biology with these models is going to be challenging and always more interesting. Actually, Dr. Pandya is a person, he is associated with all our biological problems. Our first project, biological invasion and mathematical modeling in the Gulf of Mannar, sponsored by CSIR, he also part of it. There we used cellular automata model to predict the invasive feature scenario. He also, yesterday we discussed about taking a problem and writing it to a paper by using a honeybee trap in the disposed paper cup as a model. Actually, Dr. Pandya, he applied a graph theory model to predict what will be if the bees visit to non-flowering agents than the flowering resources. So he is a person having in-depth knowledge both in mathematics and its application in biological or ecological issues. So with these few words, I invite Dr. Pandya, and on behalf of me and all the participants, we thank Dr. Pandya for accepting our invitation to deliver this lecture. Now I request Dr. Pandya to deliver this lecture.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Chandrasekhar, who is the coordinator of this UGC Stride IRC ECCB, Winter School on Climate Change, Past, Present and Future, and also head of the Department of Plant Science, Madurai Kamaraj University. So thank you, Dr. Chandrasekharan, for inviting me to share some of my research areas with the participants of this UGC Stride IRC ECCB program. I thank all the university authorities for initiating this program for the students during this COVID-19 pandemic period. So as the topic, so climate change, past, present, future. So as far as this, the topic is concerned, so global climate change has already had effects on the environment. Glaciers have shrunk, ice on rivers and lakes is breaking up earlier, plant and animals ranges have shifted, and the trees are flowering sooner. Effects that scientists had predicted in the past would result from global climate change are now occurring. Loss of sea ice, accelerated sea level rise, and longer, more intense heat waves. So taken as a whole, the range of published evidences through the scientific community indicates that the net damage caused of climate change are likely to be significant and to increase over time in the next decade. As far as this climate change is concerned, what are the future effects? This change will continue through this century and beyond. So the important factors are, so temperatures will continue to rise because human induced warming is superimposed on a naturally varying climate. So frost-free season will lengthen. Changes in precipitation of patterns more droughts and heat waves. Hurricanes will become stronger and more intense. Sea level will rise 1 to 8 feet by 2100. Arctic likely to become ice-free. So these are the some of the impacts of this. What do you call this climate change? At macro level, if you see the climate change, it has a huge impact on the environment. It has huge impact on the flora, fauna, as well as the human beings. It has huge impact on all these things. If you go to micro level, this climate change has huge impact on every individual. The protection of agriculture, and also it affects every human being, the climate change. So while you study this climate effect of this climate change, it depends upon your study, what do you call this, field of study or field of your discipline. Suppose if you are a biologist, you can study the impact of this climate change in your field, in your discipline. As I am a mathematician, so if you ask me to study this impact of this climate change, then automatically I will take this mathematical models and mathematical techniques, mathematical, what do you call this, algorithms and all these things. So while analyzing this climate change, so it depends upon our field of expertise. So some of you may be expertise in botany, zoology, biotechnology, whatever it may be, mathematics. But one thing I want to tell you, now the country needs research, multidisciplinary research. That is very, very important. As a mathematician, I cannot do anything on this, research on this climate change, because it involves more disciplines. So multidisciplinary research integrates information, data, techniques, tools, concepts, theories from more disciplines. So really, if you want to do research on this impact of this climate change, the only option is what? So multidisciplinary research. So as far as our college is concerned, as Dr. Chandrasekhar told, we are doing some multidisciplinary research involving botany, zoology, mathematics, even physics, chemistry. As he said, we have a National Center of Excellence on statistical and mathematical modeling. So we have analyzed so many problems, some biological problems. So for biological problems, we have applied some mathematical concepts, some mathematical techniques, some algorithms, and also we have published very good research articles also. So now today I'm going to discuss mathematics. I want to discuss fully mathematics. Just I am going to show you how a research problem can be analyzed using different disciplines, multidisciplines. So that is my main topic, relevant to the topic. What do you call this? Climate change, past, present, and future. Just I want to share you. Please wait a minute for this. Just a minute. I want to share you this PPT. Is it audible to you?
Yes, sir. You are audible and the PPT is visible as well, sir.
Oh, fine. Thank you. So, first of all, let me introduce about myself and my college. So I am the principal and also director of National Center of Excellence. So I belong to mathematics department. So my college is Tyagarajar College. So we have got A grade in NAAC third cycle. Very old college. Autonomous since 1987. So we have got a 22nd rank in NIRF, so 2020. Now, fine. So as you said, as far as this, climate change is concerned, really, if you want to study any system, to study the impact of climate change, so we must have some authenticated data for that. We must have some authenticated data. As far as this climate change data is concerned, we are not having a huge amount of data. The data on this climate change is not very huge data, it is very small data. Using this small data, if you want to study this impact, either you have to go the statistical methods, or you have to go the reality, theoretical research, or you have to make it as a model. Now, if you don't have any sufficient data in your hand, then using this statistical method is not advisable. Then as far as theoretical research is concerned, the scientists may give different views based on their theoretical research, their subject knowledge. Then come to the third point, it's a model. So using some model of a system, if you have a very good Pakka model, then we can analyze this model, we can extract, we can infer some results from this model. That model can predict some results. So based on the validity of this model, we will get very wonderful results for this, climate change and all this thing is concerned. So we have, so first of all, so why we have to model a system? It may be a mathematical model or physical model, biological model, whatever it may be. If you use mathematics, mathematical model. If you use some biological concept, it's called biological model. So first of all, we have to model a system. So after modeling a system, then how to interpret this, how to analyze this. So let us see all these things one by one. Yes, systems can be represented in many ways. So for example, so we have done some research in marine bioresources and also some aquatic bioresources and also some territorial bioresources. In all these areas, we have done some research. While doing research, so what we have done is, we have designed our own models. If we take marine bioresources, we have modeled it. If we take aquatic bioresources, we have modeled it. If we take this terrestrial bioresources, we have modeled it. So we have done some mathematical model for all these bioresources. So using your own concepts, what do you call this, biological concepts. So systems can be represented in many ways. They can be studied in many ways. So for example, I want to tell you, suppose you take a TV. So without showing a TV, how to model a TV? So for example, you see these pictures. You look at the first one. Looks like a box. Some two persons are appearing in the screen. So somewhat looks like a TV. You look at the next one. By circuit diagram, a TV is represented. Third one, it also represents TV by using some electrical circuits. So third one is what? Some mathematical equations. Yeah. So a TV can be represented in different ways. So any system can be represented by means of different methods, different models, different modes. So how it is efficient? That is in our hand. So in our understanding of the system, that is very, very important. So none of the representations give us the same pleasure as having a real TV set in our living room. So if you these four represents a TV, but none of the system represents what? Having a real TV in our living room. So a model is a simplified representation of a system intended to enhance our ability to understand, predict, and possibility control the behavior of a system. So please, I want to tell you that deeper into mathematics. So I'm going to give the outline of all these things. So don't worry about this. I won't touch the mathematics. So understanding is necessary to change, to preserve, or to just to know the explained behavior of the system. So understanding of a system may lead to prediction and control, but the reverse may not be true. So, so what it tells is what? So first of all, we have to understand the system. Though I am a mathematician, suppose if I want to do a model for this honeybee pollination network. So first of all, we must have a very thorough literature on that. What is honeybee? What are the literature for that? Then what are the networks? So what is the pollination? So you must thoroughly understand the system. So once you understand the system, then only you can change it, you can preserve it, or you can explain this. You can use the system for the further prediction. So for any research problem, so first of all, we have to understand the system very thoroughly. So as far as mathematical model is concerned, there are different models are there, different mathematical models, dynamic models, static models. What is dynamic models? It depends upon time. So whenever there is a change in time, the system will automatically change. That is called dynamic model, static model. So these are some, models are there. So as far as this, your discipline is biological model is concerned, almost it is very complex, highly complex. Within a single day or within a month, within a year, we cannot model a biological system because it is highly non-linear. It is highly non-linear. Non-linear means what? It doesn't have any linear relationship. You cannot predict the system exactly. For example, if we want to this, air temperature, air humidity, what do you call this, land, sea, all this thing, you see the environment. So it's keep on changing. It is a dynamic model. So it is a very highly complex system. So while modeling this complex system, so we have to bring all the, what do you call this, disciplines to design a model for this complex system. It means a set of systematic procedure based on knowledge accumulated over a number of years for solving a class of problems. The methodology is well developed and effective in the areas where mature theory exists. So application of modeling methodology is much more used in science and engineering area than social and other areas. Fine. So modeling is the process of establishing interrelationship between important entities of a system, and models are expressed in terms of goals, performance, criteria, and constraints. Please understand this. Modeling is the process of establishing interrelationship between important entities of a system. You take any system. For example, you take some, marine bioresources. So coral is there. Some algae is there, so fish, a lot of entities are there. So we have to establish some interrelationship between this, entities of the system. That is what modeling is, the process of establishing interrelationship between important entities of a system, and models are expressed in terms of goals, performance, criteria, and constraints. So just I want to show you a simple model. So Newton's second law of motion. The time rate change of momentum of a body is equal to the resulting force acting on it. You might have studied in your +2 level. Force equal to mass into acceleration. So if you see that this equation, F is equal to mass into acceleration, it looks like very simple. You just see this net force acting on the body, M is mass of the object, A is what its acceleration. So it looks like very simple model. F is equal to ME. But if you see this, it incorporates all the, what you call this, laws of nature. Very famous law, So F is equal to mass into acceleration. That is the advantage of having these models. So once you have a concrete, well-established, well-defined, well-structured model, then the outcome of this model will be highly beneficial for us. So some complex models may require more sophisticated mathematical techniques than simple algebra. So for now, so modeling of a falling parachute. So there are downward force, upward force are there. So here force is equal to what? F is equal to Fd plus Fu. So Fu is what? Upward force. So minus Cv. So downward force is what? Mass into gravity. It is a very simple model. You leave it. So I am giving this. I am showing you this this model because the impact of this. I mean equations. A simple equation will give all the phenomena, scientific phenomena. So F is equal to mass into acceleration. Okay. Now fine. Now let us come to. So just I want to show you some of the pictures for you. Now for this, you please look at these pictures. So by seeing these pictures, if you have any ideas, any suggestions, or any what do you call this? I mean, any scientific intuitions you are getting on these pictures, you can tell me so that we can go further. So please see the first picture. Second one. So third one. Fourth one. This fifth one. I am showing you some of the pictures. Just I want to interact with you all. If you have any ideas, any suggestions, any research ideas on these topics, you can tell me. Most ecological systems are complex and meshy. Landscapes are heterogeneous, resources are patchy, and climate conditions dynamic. Population growth is regulated by this messiness, but also depends on resource depletion due to intra-species competition. Okay, fine. So let us again, I want to show you all the pictures. So you can give some ideas on this. So I want a lot of ideas from you. I want to interact from all the participants. I don't want any mathematics from you. So, fine. So one by one. Sir, please mute. I want. Your ideas on this picture shown to you. Dear participants, please interact with me. I have shown you some of the pictures. Mr. Nagarathinam, Divya Bharati Kannan, you can interact with me. I have shown you some of the pictures, you know. First one is a species, a dense species, the dense fish population, then crowded human beings, it's a dense forest area, and also some, what do you call this, some lungs track, you know. I have shown you some of the pictures. So ask the biologist what you are thinking on that. So what are your observations? Anybody else?
So in the fish photograph which is shown in the second picture,
Yeah.
can we analyze the collective feeding behavior of the fish when compared to individual? Because when they are in an individual, as individual, they're very small and they are prone to attack by predators. But when they're collectively feeding together, they might look like a bigger organism, so that might deter predatory action on them.
Yeah.
And can we model feeding behavior between the individual and the collective group?
Yeah, very good. Very good. As far as this fish slide is concerned, so each fish is competing for its food, you know. So there is a competition, feeding competition between the fishes. So shall be model for that. Shall be model for that. Very good suggestion.
Participants can forward your questions or any doubts or even any suggestions to Dr. Pandya. He is open to all your questions.
Dear participants, actually it is a virtual workshop. So this virtual workshop is for what? So impact of climate change. Impact of climate change. Past, present, future. Past, present, future. So if you want to analyze the impact of this climate change in future, you must have some idea in your mind. Is it? So I have shown you some of the issues before you. You can think of it. Then only you can predict, you can plan your future, you know. So so I want to mention the name of the participants, Swapna D. Ray.
Sir, I want to ask one doubt about.
It's a doubt. We can have finally we can have the doubt, sir. Just I want an interaction from you. As you suggested, you know. So can we model for the food competition between the fishes? It is fine. It is highly appreciable. So that type of what do you call this? I expect from all the participants.
Sir, one more suggestion, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, can we model leaf color phenology of forest trees? Trees in the forest.
Yeah. Fine.
Color changes in the leaves.
Yeah. So the impact of climate change on the color change of the forest. Fine. That is a research problem, you know. So you must have data. So how the color of the forest has been changed during past, present. So based on that, so can we design a model to predict in future? It is a research problem. Fine. Next. From some of the participants participant side.
Sarab, we have one more question on the chat box.
In the chat box. Good afternoon, sir. Can we go for modeling invasive species, especially Juliflora? Very good. Fine. Perisophis juliflora. Fine. Now tell me, sir. Tell me. Okay. Now, now come here. There is a famous model, Alfred Lotka and Vichora. They have derived a model to explain the outcome of competition between two species. Competition between two species. You take any two species. Any two species. You take any two species. Let the name be X and Y. X is a species and Y is a species. So Lotka-Volterra model. So both are botanists, physicists, mathematicians. They have proposed this model, very simple model. So Lotka-Volterra model predicts 4 outcomes of competition between two species. So X always win. So there are two species growing in a field. So X always wins. Another option, Y always wins. Third option, outcome depends on the initial density of each. Suppose initially the density of X is greater than the density of Y. The density of Y is greater than, for example, number of male population is more than number of female population. Number of female population is more than number of male population. Third option. Then both X and Y coexist. Very simple model. Very simple model. Let us take two species. Let us take two species. X always win. The world will be full of male only. X always wins. Y always wins. The world will be very full of only women only. Y always wins. Outcome depends on the initial density of each. Number of male is more than number of female, or number of female is more than number of male. X and Y coexist. Both male and female coexist. So for that, they have proposed a model. That model is called Lotka-Volterra model. You can apply this model for all interspecies competition. You can take it as 2 species or 3 species or 4 species, whatever it may be. It is a very simple model. You can extend this model for more species. There are many instances in nature where one species of animal feeds another species of animal, which in turn feeds on other things. The first species is called the predator and the second is called prey. Now please understand this. In nature, one species of animal, you take a snake and rat. What is snake? It is a predator. What is a rat? It is a prey. The first species is called predator. The second is called the prey. Theoretically, the predator can destroy all the prey. Is it? The snake may eat all the rats. so that the latter become extinct. However, if this happens, suppose if there is no rat, however, if this happens, the predator will also become extinct. Automatically, there will be no snake. If there is no rat, then automatically there will be no snake. However, if this happens, the predator will also become extinct, since, as we assume, it depends on the prey for its existence. So therefore, for the existence of both predator and prey, both must exist. Both must exist. So whenever, if we take two species, so both species will extinct. The species one will compete with the second species for its food, for its water, humidity, whatever it may be. The second species will compete with the first species for all the resources. So what actually happens in nature is that a cycle develops where at some time the prey may be abundant and the predators few. Because of the abundance of prey, the predator population grows and reduces the population of prey. That is the beauty of nature. You just look at these words. What actually happens in nature is that a cycle develops, where at some time the prey may be abundant. There may be plenty of rats in the agricultural field, and the predator, there may be few snakes, but the nature won't allow. Because of the abundance of prey, abundance of rats, the predator population grows. The number of snakes will also grow, increases, and it reduces what? The population of prey. This results in a reduction of predators and a consequent increase of prey, and the cycle continues. This model is what Lotka-Volterra model, predator-prey model. You look at this graph. The red line, it indicates what? It indicates increase of prey, then decrease of prey with predator, then automatically what? So whenever, now you look at this. So this is predator, it is prey. So prey is increasing, automatically predator is increasing. So predator is increasing, so prey, so automatically prey is increasing. So that is the nature itself model, self model. All the systems in nature is what? Everything is self model. So only thing is we have to identify it. Only thing is we have to identify it for the future prediction. So you take any system. For example, if we take F is what? Fish. I am taking an equation, very simple equation. Don't confuse all these things. Very simple equation. F dash of t. So here F denotes what? Fish population. S denote shark population. So I want to show you all these things. Now F, capital F. F represents the population of fish at time t. Suppose in a sea there are 1,000 fishes are there. So F is what? Today. So F today is equal to 1,000. So S of t represents the population of sharks at time t. There may be 10 sharks. Here S of t is the predator, F is the prey. So F naught. So initial, the number of fishes at the starting point. So number of fishes in 2010. What is S naught? The number of sharks in 2010. So you look at this. So it is a predator-prey model. So we have modeled the same model for what? For shark and fishes. Here shark is a predator, fish is a prey. Okay. Now listen here. Now You just look at this model. Just I don't want to explain in detail. Now the rate of change of fish. Now look at this. F dash of t, this one, the left hand side, growth rate of fish population. It is a very simple mathematics. It is, only a higher secondary grade level. It is not a higher mathematics. So growth rate of population, fish population, is influenced according to this equation. There are three terms: first term, second term, third term. We the scientists, we the researchers, academicians, what we have to do is, so we have to form this equation. So that is our research. So we have to find what is A, what is B, what is C, and all these things. Now look at this. It is positively influenced by the current fish population size, as shown by the term AF. So A is a constant, non-negative real number, birth rate of fish. So this AF, suppose there are 100 fishes are there. There is a birth rate is there, birth rate of fish. Suppose the birth rate of fish is what, 0.5. Then automatically after some time what we get? We will get 500 more fishes. That is why we have this AF. That is why we have AF. Then it is negatively influenced by the natural death rate of, because the shark will eat the fishes. That is why we are putting this minus BF square, where B is constant, natural death rate of fish. Sorry, natural death. It is not by shark. Natural death rates. Some of the fish may die naturally. That is why we have put minus B, death rates. The shark may eat fishes. That is what this C. That is why we put minus C. You look at this very simple equation. The rate of change of fish is nothing but the initial population, the death rate of fishes, and the fishes eaten by the sharks. So in that manner, the fish population will change. That is the first equation. So what we have to understand here is, so a simple equation. It is a simple mathematical equation. It is not a very higher mathematics. It is a school level mathematics. This equation gives us what? It gives a very great natural phenomena between the fishes and shark. The only thing is, we have to find what is the birth rate of fishes, what is the death rate of fishes, how the sharks are eating the fishes. If we are able to find all these things, then definitely you can have a very good model for the fish and shark. Fine. So this equation is for what? Rate of change of fishes. Rate of change of fishes. Now this is for what? Rate of change of sharks. Rate of change of sharks. Now listen here. So what in what rate the population of shark increases? The growth rate of shark population is influenced according to the second differential equation. Okay, it is negatively influenced by the current shark population. Now listen here. So this is the death rate of shark. Death rate of shark. Then it is what? Because of the fish population, there may be increase of sharks. That is why we have put this plus D, SF. So it is negatively influenced by the current shark population size, as shown by the term minus KS. So the plus DF is what? It is positively influenced by the shark fish interactions, as shown by the term DSF, where D is the constant non-negative real number. S is the shark population, F is the fish population. Now listen here. So we have done the entire system. It is an aquatic system. We have taken the system shark and fishes. So by using this shark and fishes, we have done a model. The first one is for what? So this is for what? Fishes rate, the change of fish population. Then this one is the change of shark population. So if you are able to find all these constants, K, D, A, B, C, then definitely it will be a research problem in your area. So that is the beauty of this. So once you have this model this, so after 10 years, you can find the number of sharks in the sea, number of fishes in the sea. So everything can be predicted using this mathematical model. Now, any doubts, any clarifications on up to this, so that I can go further. So just I want to skip all these things. So you can get more input from me based on your interaction with me. So let me stop sharing. If you have any doubts, so because we are having just 30 minutes, but I am having more number of slides. If you have any doubts, you can interact with me so that I can go further. Dr. Ahmed Masood Khan, do you have any doubts, any clarifications? Mr. Nakar Muhammad. So what we have done is, so up to this, what we have done, so we have taken shark population, we have taken fish population. Yeah. So how this model can be modeled in a way such that now we have two equations. So you can take three species. So instead of this, you can have, now we have taken only two species, shark and fishes. So if you have three species, you can take three species, no problem. Sir, sorry to ask like this, it seems more advanced. It is very simple model. It is not more advanced. So if it is more advanced, so how can we see this impact of climate change? So what I have shown is a very simple model. It is very basic model. Please just try to understand this. So all of a sudden we cannot understand this, but it is a very, very basic model. Why I have stopped up to this, because I am going to show you some of the advanced models. So I want to show you some of the research papers we have published on this area. Are you able to understand my point? Understand my talk and lecture? My objectives.